Alright, so I don't even know what I would fucking push this one out to. I don't even know. It's kind of dark. I don't like this camera. Alright, we're live up on this application. I was gonna do TikTok live too, but my phone died, which kind of really sucks. So I'm gonna pause this. Actually, oh shit. Hold on, y'all. If you're still on here, I gotta set something up because it's not giving what it needs to give for me right now. Yeah. Okay. And this one. Ah, shit. I should have organized everything better before doing this. Because it's definitely not. It's not giving what it needs to give. Let me see. That's at 100%, so it might be okay. Shit. Alright.
One of my ex-boyfriends turned a really good friend, got married in 2014, and him and his...
Alright, we don't need that. I think that lighting is a little better. I can't really fucking pin it on. Shut up. I can't really pin it too much on StreamYard. Alright. Try to get organized here. Alright. Here we go. Alright, so I wasn't entirely sure as to what I was going to talk about today. I just know that I definitely had to get some thoughts and ideas out as it pertains to kind of the goal, like the overall objective of this podcast. So I think I'll start with something very minute today, right? In the realm, in the world existence of me, and kind of just where I've been at in this journey. One thing that I thought very deeply was what is the repercussion of a heartbreak, right? Like, what is the sum all damage and the overall objective or outcome to a heartbreak, right? And I think like a lot of people, when we go through a consistent amount of trauma, what ends up happening is we don't necessarily take inventory as to how this might particularly affect us. And I remember during the beginning of this process writing down in my journal just as far as, okay, like, how is this going to affect me? And it's crazy because that was a really particular question that popped up in my mind, like for a nightly meditation. And I wasn't necessarily sure, to be honest, like, even with all of my life coaching training, and all of the certification that I was trying to achieve, the certification I think was more or less like me trying to prove to myself that I did have value and I did have worth. And, the fact that I had been discarded, that wasn't, that wasn't, right, I wasn't a direct representative of me or who I am as a person or my value, right? A person can decide to a person can decide that you are not what they need or want in that particular time or moment, and that is okay, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that value has depreciated within you. And I think it just depends on the crowd that you're talking to as well, right? But and forgive me, I do a lot of rambling, guys, because I'm trying to get my thoughts organized, right? But to my point with this, what is the repercussion of this heartbreak? That was one of the questions in my journal entry, because I honestly wanted to know, like, how is this going to affect me? And I honestly, like, if I'm being honest, I don't think that that's ever a question that I've asked myself before. And dealing with people, right? If you're a normal human being, you'll deal with people, you'll experience loss, and that'll be that, right? You just move the fuck along, you move around, right? But if you're smart, you'll take inventory on exactly how this affected you, um, and in what ways it affected you. And when I say that, I'll give you guys a little story time, right? I don't believe that anything happens by accident, right? And there's no coincidence to anything. So I do believe that sometimes we go through certain things in life that are very trying, and they take away a level of hope, right? And I know I've seen like shit online where they're like, hey, if it comes from God, there's no confusion, no confliction, no adverse anything, right? It just kind of fucking flows. But like, what part in your life has that ever happened? Where there's been no sort of resistance or confusion or not really knowing like, hey, why is this happening? Don't worry, I'll wait. All right. But y'all be patient with me because I'm trying to walk through the thoughts, right? I met someone that is literally, I don't know if y'all ever been through like situations in your life or circumstances where you meet old versions of yourself, right, in your present time. And when I say like an old version, like I met a person that literally reminds me of like the hopeless fucking romantic, outgoing, caring, just very fucking thoughtful. You know what I'm saying? Probably like codependent issues. But like that would have been my dream person like 3 or 4 years ago. You know what I mean? Because like in my mind, I feel like what this person has and possesses, it reminds me so much of the person that I used to be, right? And these traits that I used to have of like, I just want my person to like be around me and, value and love and care about me. And they're thinking about me all the fucking time, right? But as it just so stands, like with the question that I had, how is this going to affect me? Like, in what way will this affect me? I'm realizing now that, like, I think the concept or the idea of the love that I once wanted, right? It no longer exists up here, like in my mind, right? Because, like, all of the evidence that I've experienced so far is nothing but like abandonment and just despair, right? And not like, oh, it's not 100% despair, but it's despair enough to make you afraid to make yourself vulnerable or susceptible to that type of feeling again, right? Because it's like, yo, like, I get it. Like, I understand why men fucking shut down the way that they do. I I get it. Cause it's like you'd be a fool, like you'd be a dummy to repeat the same process over and over again, right? Knowing that you can invest so much in a situation or a person or anything, and then, once they're done with you, they just fucking throw you away. And then, like, I think the fear of allowing that to happen again, because ultimately we allow these things to happen to us, right? Because people show us in so many different ways exactly how they're showing up for us, right? And sometimes I think we end up, and I did a video on this, I think like last week or the week before, we end up breaking our own hearts, right? Expecting us from other people. So we expect other people to have the same level of adoration for us, right? To show up for us the same way, to be vulnerable and open and transparent with us, when in fact you don't know what demons someone else is fucking battling or dealing with. So, with that in mind, I think that I'm more apprehensive than not to be open. Um, I think this weekend, or sorry, not this weekend. This weekend was pretty fucking difficult, right? But this week, I think for me personally, I don't know about anybody else, but it was very difficult for me because I feel like yesterday I was dealing with a lot of shadow shit, right? Like I spent Christmas for the most part alone, right? And I think the only person that actually reached out was the one person where I'm like, hey, like, I don't fucking trust you, right? Not only am I trying to overcome um, the pain of like being not in a situation that I want to be in or that I wanted to be in this year with the person that I wanted to, right? So it almost felt like I was self disciplining, like I was punishing myself for being alone, right? Yesterday. And I don't know, like I did, like I thought about it a lot and just trying to be logical, right? As far as if this is what I've subjected myself to, right? Because obviously, if things don't work out, right, I'm not going to say like, oh, it's your fault because things didn't work out. But it's more or less like, okay, things didn't work out the way that you wanted them to work out. And now, as a byproduct, like you're by yourself. That could have been avoided, right? But I mean, should it have? Because everything is supposed to happen the way that it's supposed to happen. But anyways, I say this to say yesterday I definitely like had a lot of time to think about just the current mindset that I not always, but probably like a few times find myself mulling over and feeling like in a state of confliction or stagnancy. And when I say confliction or stagnancy, it's just like, hey, like, oh, sometimes I do want to stay in the victim mentality, right? Or be like the fucking martyr for self-sacrifice. So, oh, I have to stay by myself. I should be alone. That's what I fucking deserve, right? There's something that I've done to earn this. So I have to stand in that, which is not necessarily true. It's not necessarily true at all, right? Like even with my family, um, because I could have went to go see, people that I know love and care about me. I know they do, and I know I could have, but I think that's being stuck in that state of victim mentality, not even victim, right? But it's just like the self sacrificial lamb. Like maybe I fucking deserve to spend this time alone, right? On a fucking holiday that I don't even care about, needless to say. But I thought about all of that. Like, hey, I don't have to be home. Like I don't have to be home by myself. I don't have to be alone. And I don't know, there's something so fulfilling about that pain that like occurs in my heart when I feel lost or abandoned or like neglected. And it's addictive, right? It's so fucking easy to get settled and stay into that place. But also in the same token, like men don't fucking do that. They don't. Like they do what makes them happy in the moment. They do what makes them feel good in the moment, right? And it really doesn't matter. They just don't. And maybe that's something that I have to like learn how to ascend myself to. So I'm not always in this habitual state of, I don't know, fucking self loathing. Oh, I feel so sorry for myself. I'm home alone on Christmas. And it's like, yo, I didn't have to be. I really didn't have to be. I think it was like, okay, either or. Either I get to spend Christmas with someone that I really fucking want to be around, right? Or I'll just be by myself. Damn, chill out. Um, yeah. So I don't necessarily think that's healthy, right? It's not healthy, and it's definitely something that I thought about today in depth, and making sure that that's not something that I continue to do. I think that Christmas more so was more of a difficult day for me, right? Because um it's a reminder of, for me, this wasn't even something I was like really truly celebrating since I moved into this place that I'm at, right? And I think last year, what was so special about it, there was like community and gathering, and it just felt so much more like it felt good. But this year, I didn't have that. So, mm. But yeah, I'm rambling now. Um, that's all I wanted to say. Uh, if I have to leave you guys with anything, right? No matter where you're at mentally or how you feel about a situation, right? You always have the gift of logic, right? So, subjectively and objectively, you have to be able to look at things from an objective standpoint, right? Did my Christmas day go exactly the way I wanted it to? Absolutely not, right? It didn't. But was I okay? Did I go to sleep? Did I wake up the next day? Absolutely. I woke up alive. Like, I'm good. I have a different perspective, right? A different understanding, um, a different attitude about life in general, right? Because you don't always get what you want. Things don't always work out for you the way that you want them to work out. And I'm not gonna give you guys some fucking cliche bullshit like, oh, you don't always get what you want, but you get what the good Lord meant for you to have. Um, yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit. Okay. Um, you get what you create, in my opinion, right? Because I think yesterday, like, I had some really fucking dark thoughts. Okay. Really, really, really dark thoughts. And I think, like, what the power of your mind and just knowing that you do have control over the way that you perceive things, right? They don't have to be the way that you want them to be. But if you're able to refocus or reframe the way that you view things or look at things, right? They don't have to be as fucking god awful, right? I could have been dead yesterday, but I wasn't. I was alive, you know. Gaining new perspectives, y'all. Gaining new perspectives. So it just so happens. And I don't want to veer off of track too much neither, because I know in the beginning I said, you so as you thinketh, so you are, right? And just the one question or the prompt that I had in my journal, as far as how did this impact me, right? And the way that it impacted me, some people may feel like it's not all that positive, right? And that's okay. It doesn't matter, because um, I'm not seeking change to, not to say it like in an egotistical way, but I'm not seeking change to benefit other people, right? I think before, the way that I thought before only and always benefited everybody else, right? First, and me last. So, just with that being said, um, knowing that the way that my mind is now reframed and the way that I look at things, right? And taking inventory of, like, hey, like, how this affected me. I know it affected me because I'm more cautious now, and making sure that I don't allow people to get too close to me, right? Because when people get too close to you, they end up having a tendency to non intentionally fucking hurt you, right? It never happens on purpose, y'all. It's always by accident. Um, so I'm just mindful of that. I think humans are a creature of the moment, and their feelings are in the moment. So I don't know. I'm just mindful of that, and making sure that I don't fall into the traps of anyone else's in the moment, right now type of energy. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys right now. Those are some organized fucking ideas. But I just wanted to put that out there. I hope that you guys found this beneficial. Hopefully, you were able to weed through the rants. And if you found something helpful or beneficial in this episode, please make sure you guys drop a comment. Let me know how your last breakup affected you. What are some tools and tips and tricks that you use to implement it, um, to make sure that you don't ever fall back into the same trap again, right? Of that self sacrificial lamb. Do not sacrifice yourself, guys, for the love of God. Do not sacrifice yourself. And I'm not saying be like, oh, be so selfless. Only think about yourself, you know? But I think the road to healing, a lot of the times, we're so very gung ho and fast on trying to help other people, right? Which ends up putting us at a disadvantage, because in the process of trying to show up and save and help other people, we end up sacrificing ourselves in the process. And that creates a bigger mess to have to fix later on. So, yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I really hope you enjoyed this episode of Truth, Trust, and Trajectory. And y'all be cool. How the you be cool. Okay, bye.